Arthur Caleb Mugelwa is one of the law graduates from Makerere University who failed to secure admission to the Law Development Center. Following his graduation early this year, Mugelwa was hoping to spend the next 9 months studying to become an advocate of the court.
I have prepared to go for the bar. I've put in so much mentally, physically, financially, and the plan is there. So if they give me another 1 year of uncertainty, I don't know what's going to be happening. I know what's going to be happening because when you're working, you have to work with your whole mind in it.
Mugelwa is further disappointed that LDC didn't even offer to have his enrollment deferred to next year, as it has been the case with some of the graduates in previous years.
It was a kind of deferred arrangement that was put in place where you have an admission letter and you're sure the next academic year you're going to be getting into the LDC.
Without an enrollment to LDC, Mugelwa feels like his 4 years at Makerere University have been a waste of time. Not want to accept defeat, Mugelwa, with 5 other colleagues in a similar position, have filed an intention to sue LDC with the High Court, seeking to compel the institution to explain its decision not to enroll them.
So, for us, we want answers, and those answers have to include us being admitted in this academic year. Because what the law states for someone to join LDC is having an accredited degree.
Early this week, the Law Development Center indicated that 1,500 lawyers had been enrolled for the bar course, of whom 597 were deferred from last year. 663 were fresh applicants from the 14 accredited universities. 240 were repeating subjects from last year, in addition to those with foreign qualifications. 630 students of this cohort were assigned to Kampala branch, 420 to Mbarara branch, and 210 to Lira branch.
What we used to do is we admit a certain number, and then we push the remainder or the balance to the next academic year. But then we asked ourselves, for how long are we going to do this? For how long are we going to keep having admitting a big number of students, and then we pick maybe 500 and we push for the next year?
Obonyo explains that a lack of resources has forced them to limit themselves to only 1,500 students.
We would rather have the numbers that we can manage, don't promise people, and then the next year, people who are going to apply will have exactly 1,500 who are fresh applicants, and we do not have any number that we have carried forward.
And thus, those who missed out on a placement this year will simply have to wait as discussions on the issue of enrollment are held among the stakeholders in the legal sector.
Now, when we have huge numbers, we are constrained as LDC because even the finances are not enough. We just have to wait, have these discussions, and then we find a way forward, which is long-lasting.
Bernard Oundo, the president of Uganda Law Society, has blamed the state of circumstances on the decision by the National Council of Higher Education to accredit more universities to offer the law course, and yet the infrastructure of Uganda's only bar course institution was not expanded.
So you have 14 universities taking on students every single year, and these students have to all end up at the Law Development Center. And therefore the Law Development Center, at the point that that decision was made, we should either have taken the decision to liberalize the Law Development Center or quickly build up the capacity.
In order to resolve this impasse, Oundo suggests that its time government considered placing a cap on the number of students allowed to study law at the accredited universities.
If you look at it from that perspective, unless you limit the number of universities that are doing law, and unless you put a cap on the number of people they are admitted, you cannot deal with the solution here.
Or that LDC takes on the national examination role, where it offers standardized examinations to all law students within their respective universities in the final year, akin to the work carried out by Uganda National Examinations Board.
Because a lot of consultation has to be done. And then also if you decide to have a national bar exam, how do you use the curriculum of the Law Development Center? Do you then find a way to ensure that it is done during the 4 years, or are we saying that we do 5 years? That also could be another question, because I've already been doing 9 months at LDC. So in essence, law has been studied for 5, for 5 years. So do we say that we add another year?
But of critical importance is an immediate solution to the lawyers who are now stranded with nowhere to go at the moment.
There could be a situation where you're having two intakes without compromising on the quality, because that's also very important. It's not just about saying let's all of us go. Yeah, how can we perhaps have 2 intakes without compromising the intermediate solution?
On his ex-page, Attorney General Judy Wachwanuka promised to hold an engagement with all stakeholders on this matter. Joyce Nakato, NTV Weekend Edition.